In our last video, we created this nested family that included two separate types of families, a window family and a door family. And the whole big deal about it was that we would be able to tag the window as a window and the door as a door separately, although they're a single family, due to this shared parameter. So what exactly is a shared parameter? A shared parameter is a parameter definition that can be used in multiple families or projects. Now, how is this possible? A single parameter used in several different project or family files. That's because this particular parameter lives outside of your project or family. It's in a separate TXT file that's automatically created via Revit UI. Now, although you have this separate file that can be connected to any project or family file, you can only use one shared parameter file at a time. So you either have to include all of the parameters you want in a single file or swap out the files to get to the parameters that you need. So how does this work? Where or when can you use a shared parameter? Well, shared parameters can only be attached to certain families. Those families include things like doors, columns, stairs and railings, plumbing fixtures, and specialty equipment. To see the full list of families that allow shared parameters, go to Help and look at Categories allowing shared parameters reference. Shared parameters can be edited via Revit's UI, that is, user interface, or the API. For our purposes, we will focus on the options available within Revit's user interface. So let's get started. Now we're looking at this particular door family that we've created with a nested window, and let's say the parameter we've used to describe this door we'd like to translate to other doors in our project. How would we go about doing that? Well, first we need to create a shared parameters file. So we go to Family Types, and we just need to add the parameter because a shared parameter is just like any other parameter. At the top, you see parameter type, and then shared parameter. And again, it's noted again that shared parameters can be used by multiple projects and families and can be scheduled and tagged. So let's select shared parameter. We don't currently have one, so yes, we need to choose a new file, but we're not trying to choose a file that's already created. We want to create our own shared parameter. So instead of browsing, we're going to select Create. And as you see, it takes us directly to the folder where our families have been saved for this course. And we can see them by going down to All Files under Files of Type. And there you have it. We have all the families we've been using during the course. We can switch back to the TXT file, and I'm going to call my file door.txt and select Save. And we're going to focus on this group here, Materials and Finishes, and we're just going to recreate those same parameters in our shared parameters file. So under Parameter Group, I'm going to create a new group, and I'm going to call it Materials and Finishes. Okay, so now I'm going to recreate those same three parameters within the shared parameter file. So new and door material. So as we create these parameters, you see that I made a typo, and Revit is a database. So if you have a parameter where you spell it correctly in one instance and incorrectly in another instance, Revit will not recognize it as being the same parameter, especially when you go to schedule it. it won't populate that field. So you have to be careful that you put exact same name for your parameters in your different files. And type of parameter material, okay. And so now you can see that we're going through the same motions to create the parameter in our family file as we do in a shared parameter, discipline, type of parameter. It's just that we're creating this in the file outside of the family. So now we have type of parameter, material again. Okay. And finally, we can get to our panel type parameter. And type of parameter, we're going to do family type. And category will be doors. And we can say okay, okay, and okay. And here we can go ahead and select cancel because we just used this process to create our shared parameters file. We didn't need this to put parameters in this file directly because of course they already exist in this file. So there you have it. We now created our shared parameters file. We've matched them to this family so that we can then use it as a standard across our project for all the doors. And we can say okay and get out of the family types. And now we're ready to look into what we can do with this shared parameter file that we've now created. So in our next tutorial, we'll look at editing and exporting these shared parameters that we've now created.